What's going on, everybody? Welcome to George's Film Quest. Today's adventure, I'm at the Ohio State Reformatory yet again, and today I'm going to be covering the filming locations for the movie Escape Plan, The Extractors, featuring Sylvester Stallone, Devon, Sawa, 50 Cent, and Dave Bautista, the third installment of the Escape Plan series. Now, majority of the movie was shot here. However, there were a few establishing shots downtown Mansfield. So before we get into the prison here, I'm going to show you those locations. That way the story sort of makes sense in a way. All right, so without further ado, let's check out the downtown Mansfield filming locations. All right, so I'm on the corner of Main and 5th. So the establishing shot, the very first shot of the movie that we see is this road right here. It's a pretty steep road. Shawshank Redemption was filmed on this road. Anyway, it's an aerial shot of this specific road right here. Now, this is pretty much like the main road into town. I'm gonna show you something really cool. So being that I'm just on the street, I don't have an aerial shot, I can show you that we are on the right street with two indicators. Number one, there is a building up here on the right. Hold on. Traffic, pretty busy today. So in this aerial shot, you see the top of this building here. You see how it's kind of got like these two little things on the top right there on the corners. You can see that in the shot. Also, this side of this building is in the shot as well, because you see how it's like red at the top and then white for deteriorating over time. That's in the shot. And then the building way down there at the end of the street, how it's like taller on the left side than it goes down, that's in the shot as well. So that is the establishing shot of the movie. And I just walked up this hill and now I'm out of breath. So now I'm gonna go back to the car. All right, so it's a little loud out here, but behind me is the silos used in the opening montage. Welcome to Mansfield. There's a railroad track right there. Those are always going, and every time I've come through this area, there is a ton of construction going on, and nothing has changed. As you can see, there's tons and tons of construction stuff behind me, but yeah, still pretty cool though to see this giant silo behind me that was used in the opening montage. I'm not even gonna bother to line this one up, simply because the closer I get to this place, the louder it's gonna get. Being that it's already loud because I'm right here next to a main road, you can probably hear the carnival music right here at the carousel. But that carousel right there was featured in the film as well during the opening montage. You see it says Richland Carousel. And it shows people on the inside of it going around and around and around. But another stop for the opening montage. Here I am on the corner of East 3rd and North Diamond Street. Now this specific shot here was a shot facing this direction. I'll zoom in a little bit. This Two Lava shop at the time used to be a pawn shop. It was called Diamond Street Pawn. And in the shot, you can see this police, this way, sign, and that building, because the roof goes like to the right, then down, and then to the right again. So, definitely in the right area. So right where that Two Lava shop sign is where the Diamond Street Pawn used to be, on the side of that building, because at the top of the roof looks like there's some sort of air conditioner, and then that first window, the sign was in between there. So we're in the right area for the opening montage. So this here is pretty much public square, downtown Mansfield. So for this really quick shot, seen in the opening montage, right behind me, right here, is where one of the scenes was shot. Now, there was a tree right here. You can see that it's been removed since the filming, but let me show you. I kind of line it up. Right down there at the bottom of the hill, that building on the corner is a law firm. And if you line it up, you can see the door right there. And also, there's a pole right here that's got a flag on it. And it's kind of hard to, you know, match up because this wooden poster frame thing is kind of in the way. But you can point out the word firm right there. So this is definitely the right area. All right, so here we are at Arlen Football Field, home of the Mansfield Tigers. This is the football field that was used in the opening montage. Now, it was an aerial shot, and there's no way that I can physically get an aerial shot from down here. But in the shot, this way over here, this light pole with the lights at the top can be seen along with the tiger that's in the middle of the field. The tiger is facing that bleacher set. So we're on the right side of where this scene was shot. Still pretty cool though. All right, so this next location is pretty depressing. Check this out. So I'm on the corner of Wayne Street and right here in this general area where all this rubble is where they filmed the rundown building scenes right after the opening montage of downtown Mansfield. Now in that scene, that's where we're introduced to the characters Dai Zhang and Bao Young. Dai Zhang is wanting to bring their business to Mansfield, talking to the people about, you know, Ohio's great because we have 25 presidents and 8 astronauts. And she's really excited about it. And Bao Young, her head of security, isn't too thrilled about it. And then she gets on the phone with her father and saying she wants to bring some of the business here. And that's when we find out that Dai Zhang's father actually funded the black site prison from the first movie. Well, I'm here to tell you that the building that they filmed that in is no longer here. I was here last year and I saw the building because I lined up a couple shots just for the hell of it, just to have for my photos. And now it has been turned to rubble. I know things change over time, but this is definitely the right area. That's depressing. All right, so here I am at the Ohio State Reformatory, otherwise known as the Devil Station, in Escape Plan, the Extractors. And in the film, when Trent says this is a bad place, he says this place is like a maze. It's over 200,000 square feet. He wasn't that far off because in actuality, in real life, this place is 250,000 square feet. So that means we have a lot of ground to cover when we get in here. So let's do it. So you'll notice that there's a lot of semis and trailers out here. That's because last weekend was the Incarceration Festival, a 3-day event of non-stop concerts. And I would have thought by now, being a week later, they would have had all this stuff cleared up. But no. I know it's pretty massive, and I know a lot of my friends go to it, but me personally, I've never been to it, but I hear it's pretty cool. And here I am, yet again, at the Ohio State Reformatory. I actually did these locations last year, and they didn't turn out the way that I wanted them. So I'm here to redo it. So, in the film, there's an aerial shot, which I can't do because clearly I'm on the ground, I don't have a drone. there's an aerial shot of the prison up from way higher up, and it shows the front of the prison just like this, and it's called the Devil Station in Latvia. We're a long way from Latvia, and if you look in the establishing shot, the aerial shot, you'll see that this place is surrounded by trees. And as you can see, there's a lot of open space here. That being said, a lot of it was CGI because on the other side of the prison here is an actual fully functioning real prison. So, of course, with the help of CGI, they had to cover all that up. And it currently smells like manure out here. So we're gonna go in and check out the inside shots of where it was filmed at here in the prison. Let's go in and check it out. So this room here was used for the shots of bringing in Dia Zhang and her crew right after Lester Jr. captures them. This is the room that they come walking through. Let's try and pinpoint some stuff. So when Lester Jr. and his crew bring in Dia Zhang and her crew, they actually faked a shot because it shows them coming through a door. This is the door that they come through. Well, truth be told, it's just a closet. It doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't go outside. It's just kind of like a small open area. I don't really know what's in it. It looks kind of creepy, so I'm not gonna go in there. Anyway, this is the room that they walk through when they first get into the Devil Station. You see them walk this way, and they kind of walk around this little barrier here, this brick wall. And these two pillars can be seen in the shot as well. Now during this scene, it's really dark. So there's two trash cans lit on fire. There's guys standing next to them giving dirty looks. They're pretty much like burning stuff and trying to keep warm because it's cold, I guess. That and just makes sense. So when they come through this room, they walk out this way through this door and in to the west cell block. And here we go. This is west cell block. So this room here is the chapel, and there were multiple scenes filmed in here. Let's check it out. So in the film, there's a scene where Bao Young goes to meet Ray Breslin, and he gives him a flash drive. Well, on that flash drive is a video of Les Jr. inside of this chapel, talking about if he sees this by now, he has Dia Zhang, and this portrait can be seen right before he enters the camera. So he would have probably been sitting somewhere over in this vicinity when he shot that. So when Les Jr. and his crew bring in kidnapped Dia Zhang and her crew, one of the rooms that they come through is the chapel here. Now, when it shows this room, there's a couple things to give away that we know for sure that it was this room. One is there is a Jesus statue up along this wall hanging there, and there's another shot of a guard kind of standing right next to it, and we can see this giant window right behind him. And of course, these giant pillars are here as well. So during that scene, when Les Jr. brings in Dia Zhang's crew, he lines them up all along this wall right here. And then he gets on the phone with Dia Zhang's father, talking about he's upping the price from 500 million to 700 million. And he's like, oh, what, you don't think I'm serious? Watch this. That it shows him coming around this pole right here. He pulls out his gun, and he's got them all lined up right there. And he acts like he's gonna point at Dia Zhang. Then right at the last second, pulls over, shoots the guy that's standing beside her. And check this out too. This is really cool. They even have the fake blood from the guy that Les Jr. killed. It's still on the wall. How cool is that? Man, it makes me really happy to see parts of old movies still here in these kind of places. Oh, and there's another thing that gave away this specific spot too. This specific part of the wall, of the parts that's peeling, those can be seen in the shot as well. So we're definitely in the right area. And now that we know that the blood, fake blood is still here, this is definitely the right area. All right, so here is the west cell block, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of filming of the movie took place in this area. Let's see if we can pinpoint it. Okay, so after an extensive amount of trying to line up shots, I thought that the spiral staircase used in the film was over in the east cell block. No, we were over in the west cell block, and right here in front of me is the spiral staircase that was used in the film. Man, that goes 5 stories up. That's crazy. And how I know this is because there's a shot of them going up the staircase, sort of like this, and you can see kind of right here, you can see this little area and these beams going that way. So that means we're in the right area. I mean, this is a west cell block where most of it was filmed anyway. So right after Lester Jr. captures Dia Zhang and her crew, they come walking this way out of that room from the right. So they come walking this way, and he's talking to Dia Zhang, and he's showing her the people that are in these cells before he locks her in one. And I believe he said something about they're serial rapists, murderers, pretty much like the worst of the worst people are in these cells. And they're kind of rough looking. I mean, this is in what, Latvia? So, well, technically the Devil Station. And I'm not entirely sure which cell that he put her in, but I mean, I think there's like 36 cells on the west block. Was way down there, going all the way down that way. So I believe they were somewhere around the halfway mark. So I'm just gonna kind of like get into a cell here. We'll pick this one that's got an exit sign underneath it. So she probably would have been in here. And then Lester is like, lock him up. They lock it. You hear the clink clank sound. And he's like, I love that sound. And then he walks back that way. All right, so here we are back in this room again. Now we see this room again, not too long after we see it the first time, but this time, this is right after Bao Young and Shinlo get captured by Lester's crew after he blows them up outside in the yard. They come through that door, yet once again, it comes from absolutely nowhere. And this is a pretty pivotal point in the movie. It's a pretty important scene that happens here. So, Lester's crew has Bao Young and Shin Lo, and again, all this stuff can be seen in the shots as well, the pillars, the fire, this wall again. So, Lester Jr. ends up meeting them in this room, and he's bringing Abigail and Dia Zhang. So, Bao Young, Shin Lo right there, Abigail and Dia Zhang over there, and Shinlo and Dia Zhang stare at each other pretty much the whole entire time while Lester Jr. sees it. And he's like, well, wait a minute. You two know each other? And then he gets pissed off and he's like, well, am I the only one that sees this? Pretty much. So then out of nowhere, he ends up shooting Bao Young. That is the end of Bao Young. No more Bao Young, which was her head of security, Dai Zhang's. He takes Shen Lo's earpiece out and he's like, you hear me, Ray? You're missing all the fun up here. Check out your phone. And then you see Lester Jr., him on the phone, and then you see him come over to Abigail, and then he slits her throat. So we lose 2 people in this room right here. That's crazy. So that pisses off Ray Breslin. He goes and throws his phone, and then that's when he goes and fights the dude in the sewers. So Ray is pissed off at this point, and he is making his way in here to the prison. Chapel here, and there's another scene where Les Jr. kills Abigail. In the following scene, we see Ray Breslin coming through the chapel here. Right here is the same door that Ray Breslin comes through, and he kind of runs over this way. And he has his flashlight, and he looks up and sees the portrait up there on the wall, so he knows that he's in the right place. And he like makes a really angry face that he comes through here and starts walking down this way, down into the prison itself. And he like looks over right here, and you can see him actually going right around that corner right there. So remember when Les Jr. kills Bao Young and he has Shen Lo and Dai Zhang? Well, they come walking this way, and then it shows them putting Dai Zhang into a cell, which I would assume is probably this one, because when they lock up Shen Lo, they put him right over here in this little closet type thing. And how I know that is because this weird letter sign is in one of the shots as well. But in here is where Shen Lo was handcuffed and locked in here. Check this out. It's really dark. But during the scene, Shen Lo takes a taser. He steals it from one of the guys when he makes Dai Zhang fall over, and he starts ripping paint peelings off the wall, and he lights a fire right here on the floor. And in the film, this door is closed and there's smoke coming out from underneath the door, and everyone's like, fire, fire. So then 2 guards come running around the corner, and they open the door, and Shen Lo, I'm gonna come back in here. Shen Lo is like Spider-Man up on the wall right there. And he kicks the dude, and he gets free, and he starts beating up one of the guards, and one of the guards falls over, and he falls next to this cell. So when Trent enters the prison and he's about to make his big impression, he walks through these doors here, going into the west subblock, and he makes a left like he's going that way. So then all the prisoners start getting free, and all the guards come and start arming their guns and stuff. And then Shen Lo takes the keys and comes right over here to Dai Zhang's cell and unlocks it. Then he gets out, and Shen Lo and Dai Zhang are kind of standing right here, and there's like a whole crowd of people. And then we hear down in front, and it's Trent with his shotgun, and he's standing right there. And I'm gonna turn around. So this is Trent's perspective of where he used the dragon's breath on all those people. So right here in this general area is where Trent would have killed all those people with the dragon's breath. So that was Trent's point of view. Let's check out the opposite point of view, where Trent killed all those people. So this is it. People would have been scattered right here, falling over because Trent shot him and stuff. I know this is the right area because after Trent shoots all those people, he walks this way. And then you can see, it's a little hard to see, so I'm not as close to it, but there's like a barrier right there. See that railing? That can be seen in the shot as well. So we're definitely in the right area. So here we are on the east cell block, and right over here behind me is where Shen Lo fought one of Les Jr.'s henchmen. There's a shot of Shen Lo rescuing Dai Zhang, and he looks down this way and he sees the henchman walk this way. So he goes after him, and they have Wong, I'm pretty sure his name's Wong. He's in a little room by himself trying to hack into some stuff because Lester Jr. wants him to hack in so he can get some money and stuff. And they go in to a room, but it's not this room. This is the shower room of the actual prison when it used to be here. So I'm not entirely sure which room that was in, but this is the exact area because they fight right next to this staircase. And then you could see this like metal door in the shot as well. And Dai Zhang is right here, standing behind this little brick wall with Wong. Right here, where I'm standing, is where Shen Lo and the henchman got into that fight. All those badass fight scenes right here. And I was watching the behind the scenes, and the guy that played Shen Lo said that he wanted to incorporate some kung fu into the film, but didn't want to make it all about kung fu, but he just wanted to bring something different to the fighting style. And let me tell you, he did a damn good job because those fight scenes were awesome. But yeah, right here in this general area is where Shen Lo fought the henchman that he didn't like, that he kept on winking at. All right, so here I am in the west cell block, just on the other side, and this little area right here is where Trent DeRussa got into the fight with one of the henchmen, and we know this is the right area for a few reasons. Number one, the henchman is underneath this staircase waiting for Trent. I know it's the staircase because take a look at this little design right here. You can see that as the henchman is hunched over waiting for Trent, along with this specific design of the handrail. Now once Trent comes around the corner, they get into a little bit of a scuffle, they exchange hands, and then it pans over to Trent right up against this wall, because you can see this white pole in the shot as well, because it kind of curves off to the left right there. So that's when Trent's like, you want it, come get it, kind of type stuff. And then right here in this little general area is where they got into their little tussle. They exchange hands. The henchman has Trent backed up against this door right here, hitting him in the stomach, in the face, exchanging some haymakers and stuff. And at one point, the henchman puts Trent in a headlock, and Trent counters, hitting him in the gut or whatever. And next thing you know, he's got the henchman lifting in the air. And this part's really, really crazy, because after he lifts him in the air, I knew this is the exact spot because of this specific box right here can be seen in the shot. So when he lifts up the henchman, there was a metal type pole right here. Now, obviously it's not there now. It was used for the film. So when Trent lifts up the henchman, he drops him on his head. Right there is where that happened at. That's crazy. Okay, still over here in the west cell block. Now this is gonna be the final showdown between Lester Jr. and Ray Breslin. Now, due to safety reasons, people aren't allowed on these tiers because they're open tiers, unlike the other side over in the east cell block. But right up there on the 5th tier, way up there, is where they had the showdown between Lester Jr. and Ray Breslin. And we know that it's the right tier because if you look way over here, that little archway, it kind of comes to a point that can be seen behind Lester Jr. as he's walking down the tier right there. So next thing we know, Ray Breslin is coming up a spiral staircase, which I don't believe is the one way down there because it's a little bit of movie magic. So I would assume he came up the one like they used over in the East cell block. So Lester Jr. sees Ray Breslin coming down the top tier there, and he starts shooting at him. So Ray Breslin takes cover, and he's like, "Why did you kill her?" Talking about Abigail. And then Lester Jr. says some stupid stuff like, "You know what? She didn't even scream. She just kind of gurgled." And that pisses off Ray. So he comes out of one of those cells up there, and he gets shot in the face by Lester Jr. And they end up getting into a little bit of a tussle up there on the top tier. Now, I've kind of pinpointed it. So you see these cells right here on the very top. It would have been one of those cells. Now, a little bit of cool information for you. Sylvester Stallone said in an interview that entire fight between the two wasn't choreographed. They kind of just went at it, and that's pretty much what you got for that entire fight scene. So, as they're duking it out, throwing haymakers towards each other, Ray's like, "You want to know about my fucking father? He was the meanest son of a bitch you ever did see." So, he beats Lester Jr. so bad that he gets him into a headlock, and he comes right out to the top of that railing, right next to it, and he's like, "Shh, don't say anything. This is what it felt like." So then he pulls a knife out of his back pocket, puts a knife up to Lester Jr.'s throat, and slits his throat. And then he turns around, and you can see the open gash. And then he kind of looks at him. Then Ray Breslin pushes him over the railing, falling 5 stories right here. Now, I know that he fell right here because there's a shot of him laying on the ground just like this. And you can see these little brick things along with these air vents. So this one can be seen in the shot. We know it's the right area because it's kind of like a dark piece right here on the top and this little air vent. So a little bit of cool information that I found out is I was watching the behind the scenes interviews with the cast members, and they did one with Dave Bautista, Trent, and he said that he's a huge movie nerd. So when they asked him to come film here at the Ohio State Reformatory for this movie, he immediately said yes because Shawshank Redemption was filmed here, and he likes this prison, and he likes where things were filmed at. So I think that's really cool to hear that even celebrities like being in former filming locations as well. So that's really neat. So this room here is in between the east and the west cell blocks. Nothing from Escape Plan Extractors was filmed in this room, but I do want to point out a couple cool things. This is the room filmed in Shawshank Redemption, the lunchroom. You'll notice these pillars here are different colors now because it's been painted, but the checkered floor sort of gives it away. And also, in between the east and the west cell blocks, the movie Air Force One. Part of the movie Air Force One was filmed in here. The general that gets let loose. There's a shot sort of like this. But the general comes up and signs some stuff on a desk. And I did filming locations for both of those, and I will drop links in the description below, and you can go check out those filming locations for those movies that was filmed here as well. So just really quick, I wanted to document this for the video, but this is the left side of the prison. Right there is the entrance. You come down the hill, down the road right there. The other side is the visitor parking. But really quick, the scenes at night, when Lester Jr. has Dia Zhang up on the outside like tier thing and he has her handcuffed, he comes out of a guard tower and Shenlo and Bao Young come out of the woods and then they get blown up, and Dia Zhang tells Lester Jr. about the legend of Nian. Well, as you can see from this point of view, there is no guard tower and there's definitely not any on the other side. So my guess is down this road right here to the right, there is probably a guard tower where they filmed it at. But with movie magic, as you can see, this road right here, I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of forest and whatnot, but there's no big open field to where Lester's crew would have took Bao Young and Shenlo. So that entire sequence was probably filmed somewhere on this side. I'm not entirely sure where. So just a little bit of an update. All right, so unfortunately, this last location I can't get to because the road is closed off, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway. All right, here we are at the very last location. Now, this road here, if you follow it down just a little bit farther, it veers off to the left. Now, unfortunately, it's got a bunch of big boulders in the middle of the road down there, so I can't get past it. Plus, it's kind of fenced off anyway. But just beyond this tree line is the Mansfield Airport, in which I believed that they used in the film multiple times. Closer towards the beginning, when we're introduced to Dia Zhang and Bao Young, and then she gets kidnapped and all that stuff by Lester Jr. That whole airport scene and that hangar probably filmed inside there. I don't see why they wouldn't have, since the majority of the filming was here in Mansfield. They want you to think that it was elsewhere, but it wasn't. Also, towards the end of the movie, when Dia Zhang is reunited with her father, and Ray Breslin and Trent DeRussa are talking about their next plan, also filmed in the same hangar. So I'm pretty sure that was filmed there at the airport. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap on the filming locations for Escape Plan, The Extractors, the third installment of the Escape Plan series. One of which, my personal favorite aside from the first one, and a little bit biased because it was filmed here in Mansfield, and I like that they filmed it here in Mansfield. But anyway, if you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment, share, do whatever. But anyway, this was fun. Hopefully I covered enough locations in this video. Took a while. I'm exhausted. But anyway, take care, guys. I'll see you next time on George's Film Quest.